right now, Verizon Indy Car Series driver Scott Dixon drives the number 9 Honda car for Chip Ganassi Racing. Scott, welcome.
Yeah, pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
First of all, congratulations on the win last week on the road course at Road America.
That was big. You know, it's a track that, one of the great old school American road courses that we have, and we've been very lucky, to go back the last couple of years. But first win at that place, and probably only my third time racing there, so it's definitely a big weekend for us.
Well, it looks like road courses are big for you this year. What? You've got 6 top 5 finishes in the road courses so far this season. What's made the difference for you?
I think it kind of, depends on where you place out during the season, the car configuration. I think right now with the Honda kit, we probably favor it on the super speedways, so like Indianapolis, Pocono, Texas. Unfortunately, with Indianapolis and Texas, we got crashed out of both those races, so that hadn't gone too well. But definitely with the road and street courses, the Honda package has been very strong. So, I think with some of the road courses, they don't maybe work as well for the kit in theory, but we've been able to capitalize on it as a team and get a real good team effort to pull it off.
Do you find the road courses more challenging? Indy is so big and it's so open, and you can go 3 wide a lot of times. Is it more challenging for you as a driver?
I think that's the cool deal with the Verizon IndyCar series, is that you need to be good at many different disciplines, whether it's a short track oval, super speedway, street courses, road courses. I came from a road course racing background. The first time I ever raced on an oval was, back in 1999 when I first came to America. But all are very tough, just in very different ways. The Indianapolis 500 is mentally just so draining. 3.5 hours of speeds of almost 250 miles an hour, with cars, around you constantly. Whereas a road course, you're turning left, right, braking heavily, changing gears a lot. There's just different aspects to it. But to win a championship, you've got to be good at all of them.
In the studio right now, Scott Dixon, of course, in town in preparation for the Iowa Corn Indy 250 here in a couple weeks at the Iowa Speedway. Let's talk the Indy 500. For myself, last year was my son's and my first time experiencing Indy. Now, we didn't experience the entire month and everything leading up to it, but we were there for Carb Day and for Legends Day. Everything was going good for you. Won the pole on the front row with Ed Carpenter and last year's winner, Alexander Rossi. Then you get to lap 55. Take us through that. What happened? I don't think, and I've been watching IndyCar racing for many, many years. I'm sitting on the opposite end of the track coming out of turn 4. What was that like? I've never seen a crash like that ever.
Yeah, it was definitely a very spectacular accident. For me, it was just basically wrong place, wrong time. And we'd started the race probably on the side of being a little too light on downforce, and we'd kind of slipped back a couple of spots, and we actually had made some gains after the first pit stop, and we're heading back in the right direction. But yeah, just Jay Howard car that was a couple of laps down got into the grade.
Had you even had a chance? Did it happen? I know you guys were. How fast were you going at the time?
Yeah, probably 220 miles an hour. You see it happening. The hard part is that with the banking and how the course is, a car can go either right or left or stay against the wall. And had a similar accident during the month of May where a car stayed against the wall, so chose to go to the left. And unfortunately, the way that his suspension broke, it just immediately turned him in the direction we were going. And hit him probably at about 180, 200 miles an hour, and launched into the air and flew about 300 feet into the catch fence and destroyed the car. But it was definitely been in some big accidents. That was probably the most spectacular one I've been involved in.
Thank God for the safety systems within that car, within the cars now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think had that been 10 years ago, that would have could have ended vastly different. But super lucky with how the car hit the fence, but yeah, if you see the accident on the internet, it's definitely spectacular.
All right, we've got Scott Dixon here in the studio, getting ready for the Iowa Corn Indy 250 at the Iowa Speedway coming up here in a couple of weeks. Staying on Indy, Fernando Alonso.
Yeah.
How was that? How was everybody feeling with him coming in as a Formula One champion, coming in for his first time at the Indy 500? How was that for everybody? And everything leading up to the 500 this year?
I think it was fantastic, to have someone, of Fernando's caliber, and especially during, a regular season, he's had a race that weekend in Monaco, their marquee event in Formula One, and it was a lot of circumstances that were able to meet. Obviously, he's driving for a Honda team. They're not doing so well. They decided that they could run a car at Indianapolis, and they run it with a very successful team. Andretti is probably in recent history the strongest team to run, defending champions from last year too, and current champions this year too. So it's he did a fantastic job, and I think he really took it in his stride. He seemed to really enjoy the environment. I think he really enjoyed that he had a car that was competitive and could race at the front again, whereas in Formula One they've really been struggling.
Let's take a look at the Iowa Corn Indy 250. We love having that racetrack here in Iowa. I've been to Kansas many times before Iowa was built 10 years ago. It's a course you've never won at, but 3 top 5 finishes in the last 5 years. What do you need to do this year to get in the Casey's General Store victory lane?
I don't know. It's if we knew, we would have figured it out.
I know.
But it's a very tough track, and I think strategy-wise, we've been close sometimes, and maybe just haven't had the speed here and there. We've been on the pole, I think, 2 or 3 times. We've won a heat race, but not the feature race. So it's definitely a very demanding circuit. I think it's the world's fastest short track, and it's aged. It's got more bumps now too, which make it very tricky to try and work out. And this year, with going back to the Honda kit, it's probably the short track ovals are going to be our toughest tracks this year. So hopefully we can overcome that. But you just got to get everything right. The competition level right now in the Verizon IndyCar Series is just through the roof. So if you miss by a little bit, you have no shot at winning.
Finally, what's your favorite thing about the Iowa Speedway that you've seen over the years since you've been there in racing?
Well, there's several things, but for me, the racing. It's a short track with multiple lanes. The racing is just fantastic, but. Secondly, and most importantly, I think is the fans. It's basically always a sellout. You have a ton of people that are very enthusiastic about racing, especially in this state, but are also very knowledgeable, and they just love seeing the speeds and the smells and what you get out of IndyCar racing. So yes, the people that makes it what it is. Well,
Scott, thank you. Scott Dixon here in the studio, getting ready for the Iowa Corn Indy 250, July 9th at the Iowa Speedway. Tickets are available, iowaspeedway.com. Scott, thanks for the time you came in. Yeah. Looking forward to seeing you in the Casey's General Store Victory Circle on July 9th. Thanks for coming in.
I hope so. Thank you very much.